Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Woven English. It is so good to have you here. Let us take a breath together. The lamps of Alexandria are still burning. Their flames move in the night wind. Beyond the palace walls, the dark Mediterranean Sea touches the sleeping city. Ships rest in the harbor. Marble streets shine under the moon. Somewhere in the distance, Roman soldiers are moving closer. Inside the palace, a woman stands beside an open window. She is 39 years old. She wears the clothes of a queen. But her kingdom is falling around her. Her strongest ally is gone. Her army has failed. The enemy now controls the gates of Alexandria. For nearly 300 years, her family has ruled Egypt. By sunrise, that long story may be over. Her name is Cleopatra VII. Most people remember her through a few famous images: a beautiful queen, a golden boat, Julius Caesar, Mark Antony, a poisonous snake. But what if those images hide the real woman? What if Cleopatra's greatest power was not her beauty, but her voice? In this story, you will discover how a young queen lost her throne and found a dangerous path back to power. You will follow the human story of a woman who built alliances, raised children, suffered great losses, and watched the world change around her. And you will explore a deeper question. When we cannot control the ending, can we still choose how we meet it? So, make yourself comfortable and let the story begin. More than 2,000 years ago, Alexandria rises beside the sea. It is not an old Egyptian city. Alexander the Great founded it in 331 BCE. After his death, one of his generals, Ptolemy, took control of Egypt. His family created a new royal line. They were Macedonian Greeks. They spoke Greek at court. They followed many Greek customs. But they also presented themselves as Egyptian pharaohs. On temple walls, they appeared in ancient Egyptian clothing. Priests performed ceremonies for them. Their rule joined two worlds. By the time Cleopatra is born, around 69 BCE, the Ptolemaic kingdom has become weak. Egypt is still rich. The Nile gives life to its farms. Grain moves from its fields to cities across the Mediterranean. Alexandria has a famous library and a great center of learning. Merchants, sailors, scholars, and priests fill its streets. But Rome is growing stronger. Roman leaders lend money to foreign kings. Roman armies decide the future of distant lands. Egypt remains independent. But that independence has become fragile. It is like a beautiful glass cup near the edge of a table. Cleopatra grows up inside this uncertain world. Her father is Ptolemy XII. His enemies call him weak. He depends heavily on Roman support. At one point, opposition forces him to leave Egypt. Cleopatra may have traveled with him during part of this exile, though the details remain uncertain. What is certain is the lesson she sees. A crown does not protect its owner. A palace can become a prison. Family members can become enemies. foreign friends can demand a high price. Cleopatra studies carefully. But the most important thing she studies is not found in any book. Ancient writers describe Cleopatra as highly educated. She learns philosophy, public speaking, government, and medicine. She understands how words can guide a room before an army ever enters it. She also learns languages. Greek is the language of her family. But Cleopatra is the first known Ptolemaic ruler to learn Egyptian. Ancient accounts say she could speak with several foreign peoples without an interpreter. This matters. A ruler who speaks only through translators remains distant. Cleopatra can meet diplomats in their own language. She can speak with Egyptian priests. She can present herself not simply as a Greek queen living in Egypt, but as the living ruler of Egypt. On coins, she later shows a strong profile. It is not the soft face of a romantic painting. It is a face made for authority. A firm chin, a clear nose, royal symbols. Cleopatra understands something important. A queen does not need to look gentle. She needs to look legitimate. Legitimate means accepted as the lawful ruler. When her father dies in 51 BCE, Cleopatra is about 18 years old. She becomes queen beside her younger brother, Ptolemy XIII. He is still a child. According to royal custom, the two may also have been officially married, though this was a political arrangement within the dynasty. Cleopatra is older, better educated, more experienced. At first, her name appears before her brothers on official documents. Her image sometimes appears alone. She acts as the main ruler, but Egypt is facing serious problems. The Nile produces poor floods in several years. Food becomes harder to find. Prices rise. People are angry. Powerful officials at court gather around the young Ptolemy XIII. These men do not want Cleopatra to rule alone. They can control a boy more easily. Slowly, Cleopatra's position weakens. Her name disappears from some official records. Her brother's advisors take control of the palace. By 48 CEE, Cleopatra has lost Alexandria. She crosses the border and begins gathering supporters in the east. She has a royal name and great intelligence, but not enough soldiers. She must choose. Imagine that moment. Only a short time earlier, she sat on a royal throne. Now she stands outside her own country. The palace doors are closed. Her younger brother's government calls her an enemy. She can disappear quietly and live in safety, or she can risk everything to return. Cleopatra chooses to return. She gathers an army and moves toward Egypt. Her forces meet her brother's forces near the eastern border. For a time, neither side wins. Then a Roman ship arrives. On that ship is Pompey, one of Rome's most famous generals. He has just lost a civil war against Julius Caesar. Pompey comes to Egypt hoping for protection. Ptolemy XIII's advisors choose murder. Pompey steps from his boat near the Egyptian shore. Men working for Ptolemy's government kill him. They believe this gift will please Rome's new master. They are wrong. When Caesar arrives in Alexandria, he is reportedly disgusted. Pompey had been his enemy, but he had also been a Roman leader. Caesar enters the royal palace. He announces that he will settle the conflict between Cleopatra and her brother. This creates an extraordinary opportunity. Cleopatra must reach him before her enemies stop her. The famous story says, she enters the palace hidden in a carpet. The oldest surviving account describes something more like a large cloth or bedsack carried by a loyal servant named Apollodorus. The exact object does not matter. The decision does. Cleopatra places herself inside a bundle and allows another person to carry her through enemy-controlled streets. If the guards discover her, she may die before meeting Caesar. But the plan succeeds. The bundle enters Caesar's rooms. It opens. The exiled queen steps out. We do not know their first words. But Cleopatra has achieved her purpose. She is no longer a distant name in a political dispute. She stands before Caesar as a living person. She can argue her own case. Her intelligence, presence, and political value impress him. If you enjoy stories like this, consider joining us here at Woven English. New stories arrive every week. Caesar orders the siblings to rule together, but the conflict has already gone too far. Fighting begins in Alexandria. Caesar has only a limited number of troops. Ptolemy's forces surround parts of the city. Fire spreads near the harbor during the struggle. Cleopatra remains inside the palace as war reaches the streets outside. This is not a simple rescue. Caesar is protecting Roman interests. Egypt owes Rome money. He wants a stable government friendly to him. Cleopatra understands this. Their alliance serves both of them. After months of fighting, Roman reinforcements arrive. Caesar defeats Ptolemy XIII's army near the Nile. The young king dies during the retreat, probably by drowning. Cleopatra returns to the throne. Yet her victory has tied Egypt more closely to Rome. Every alliance has a price. Caesar remains in Egypt for several months. During this period, Cleopatra becomes pregnant. In 47 BCE, she gives birth to a son. She names him Ptolemy XV Caesar. People later call him Caesarion, meaning Little Caesar. For Cleopatra, Caesarion is more than a beloved child. He is part of a future plan. Through his mother, he belongs to Egypt's royal family. Through his claimed father, he may carry the blood of Rome's strongest man. A child can become a bridge, or a threat. In 44 BCE, Cleopatra travels to Rome. She stays in one of Caesar's properties outside the city center. Yet Caesar's power continues to grow. His image appears on coins. The Senate names him dictator for life. Some Romans fear that he plans to become a king. Cleopatra's presence gives their fears a foreign face. Then, on the 15th of March, 44 BCE, Caesar walks into a meeting of the Senate. A group of senators surrounds him. They stab him to death. In a few violent moments, Cleopatra loses her strongest protector. She takes Caesarion and returns to Egypt. She has lost Caesar, but she has not lost her throne. Back in Egypt, Cleopatra focuses on something simple and essential: survival. After Caesar's death, 3 men form a political alliance. They are Mark Antony, Octavian, and Lepidus. Octavian is Caesar's adopted son and legal heir. He is young, controlled, and patient. Mark Antony is an experienced soldier. He fought beside Caesar. He is direct, social, and popular with many troops. Together, they defeat Caesar's killers. Then they divide much of the Roman world. Antony takes responsibility for Rome's eastern lands. He needs money for armies and future campaigns. Egypt has enormous wealth, ships, and grain. In 41 BCE, Antony sends for Cleopatra. He orders her to meet him at Tarsus, in what is now southern Turkey. Officially, he wants answers. Some people have accused her of helping Caesar's enemies. Cleopatra delays. Then she arrives on her own terms. Ancient writers describe a royal ship with purple sails and silver oars. Music moves across the water. Perfume fills the air. Cleopatra appears beneath a golden covering, dressed in the style of the goddess Aphrodite. The political message is clear. Cleopatra does not enter Tarsus as a frightened ruler answering Roman questions. She arrives as the queen of a rich and ancient kingdom. She turns a summons into a performance. A summons is an official command to appear. Antony plans to judge her. Instead, the city comes to watch her. Antony accepts her invitation to dine. Their political discussions soon become a personal relationship. But we should not reduce this meeting to romance. Antony needs Egypt. Cleopatra needs Antony. She wants protection for her throne and recognition for Caesarion. She also wants to rebuild Egypt's influence over lands once controlled by the Ptolemies. Their relationship is warm, dramatic, and politically useful. They have 3 children together, twins named Alexander Helios and Cleopatra Selene, and a younger son named Ptolemy Philadelphus. Their names carry large dreams. Helios means sun, Selene means moon. Cleopatra is building a family, but also a dynasty. In 34 BCE, Antony and Cleopatra hold a great public ceremony known as the Donations of Alexandria. They sit on golden thrones. Caesarion is declared the true son of Julius Caesar. Cleopatra receives the title Queen of Kings. Their children receive royal titles connected to large territories. To Cleopatra, it may look like protection. Egypt is no longer waiting quietly for Rome to decide its fate. To Octavian, it is perfect political material. He tells Romans that Antony has forgotten his homeland. He presents Cleopatra as dangerous, luxurious, and foreign. This is propaganda. Propaganda is information designed to shape public opinion, often by using fear or strong emotion. Octavian is very good at it. Now, here is where the story turns toward its most dangerous chapter. In 32 BCE, Octavian's allies officially declare war on Cleopatra. Not Antony. Cleopatra. Her name gives Rome a foreign enemy. Antony and Cleopatra gather ships and soldiers in western Greece. Their fleet includes large warships. Cleopatra personally supplies many vessels and much of the money, but their situation slowly worsens. Octavian's brilliant commander, Agrippa, captures important coastal positions. Supply lines become weak. Disease spreads through Antony's camp. Some allies leave. The sea no longer feels open. It feels like a trap. On the 2nd of September, 31 BCE, the fleets meet near Actium. The morning is hot. Ships move through narrow water. Rowers pull heavy oars. Soldiers wait on wooden decks. Smoke, arrows, shouting, and broken wood fill the air. Cleopatra's squadron waits behind part of Antony's line. For centuries, people have told a simple story about what happens next. Cleopatra becomes afraid. She turns her ships and runs. Antony sees her leaving and follows because he is blinded by love. It is a powerful story, but history may be more complicated. Antony and Cleopatra may already have planned to break through Octavian's blockade and escape with part of their fleet and treasure. Their army could then continue the war elsewhere. Cleopatra's ships move through an opening and sail south. Antony follows with a small group. Many ships and soldiers remain behind. They surrender. Was Cleopatra's departure cowardice? Was it a planned escape? The surviving evidence does not give us a simple answer. But the consequence is clear. Octavian wins the battle. Antony and Cleopatra return to Egypt. They still have money. They still have troops. They still hope to negotiate or rebuild. But allies begin to disappear. Kings who once supported Antony move toward Octavian. People stop believing they can win, and when belief leaves a ruler, power soon follows. In Alexandria, Cleopatra now prepares for the end on her own terms. In 30 BCE, Octavian enters Egypt. His forces approach Alexandria from different directions. Soldiers change sides. The fleet fails Antony. Then Antony receives a report that Cleopatra has died. The report is false. How it began remains uncertain. Cleopatra has withdrawn into her monument with attendants and treasure. Later writers may have shaped the scene for drama. Antony believes the news. He decides to die. He stabs himself, but the wound does not kill him immediately. Then he learns that Cleopatra is alive. His servants carry him to her monument. The doors are closed. According to the ancient account, she and her attendants lower ropes from a high window and pull Antony upward. It is a painful image. The great Roman commander hangs bleeding in the air. The queen and two women struggle to lift him. There are no golden ships now, no public ceremony, no cheering crowd, only stone, rope, blood, breath. Antony reaches Cleopatra. he dies near her. One of the most powerful partnerships in the ancient world ends inside a sealed building. Cleopatra is now alone with Octavian. She meets him. The young Roman leader is careful. He wants her alive. A living Cleopatra can walk in his victory parade through Rome. She can become the final proof that he has defeated the dangerous Queen of the East. Cleopatra understands what this means. Roman victory parades are designed to display power. Captured rulers walk in chains before the crowd. Cleopatra has spent her life creating her own image. Now, Octavian wants to create the final image for her. She asks to visit Antony's tomb. She mourns beside it. Then she returns to her rooms. She bathes. She dresses in royal clothing. She eats a final meal. She sends a message to Octavian asking to be buried beside Antony. When Octavian's men reach her, Cleopatra is dead. 2 attendants are with her. One is already dying. The other, named Charmian, is said to be adjusting the queen's crown. A soldier asks whether this is well done. Charmian answers that it is well done and suitable for a ruler descended from kings. Then she falls. The snake is the most famous part of Cleopatra's death. Painters place it beside her, but we do not know exactly how she died. Ancient writers offer different possibilities. The method remains uncertain. The decision does not. Cleopatra refuses to become a living object in Octavian's parade. She cannot save her throne. She cannot save Antony. She may no longer be able to save Caesarion, but she can still deny Octavian one final victory. After her death, Egypt becomes part of the Roman world. Caesarion is captured and killed on Octavian's orders. Cleopatra's children with Antony survive. Cleopatra Selene later becomes Queen of Mauritania in North Africa. There, she carries part of her mother's royal world into another kingdom. In 27 BCE, Octavian receives the name Augustus. His rule marks the beginning of the Roman Empire. The queen he defeated becomes part of his success story. Roman writers describe Cleopatra as a dangerous seductress. A seductress is a woman believed to control others through attraction. They blame her for Antony's choices. They turn political strategy into romance and reduce a skilled ruler to her beauty. The story works because Octavian wins. He controls the army. He controls Egypt, and for a time, he controls the memory. But the story does not remain under his control forever. Coins survive. Temple walls survive. Documents survive. They show a queen who ruled for more than 20 years. A queen who spoke to different peoples in their own languages. A queen who managed money, religion, diplomacy, war, and family succession. She made serious mistakes. Cleopatra was not perfect. She was not a simple hero. She was a ruler working inside a dangerous world. Cleopatra chose action. She chose Caesar when her brother's government drove her out. She chose Antony when Egypt needed protection. She chose a vision in which her children could rule a powerful Eastern kingdom. And at the end, she chose not to let her enemy display her in chains. Some choices saved her. Some choices cost her dearly. That is what makes her human. More than 2,000 years later, we still stand beside three images. A young queen hidden inside a cloth bundle, risking death for one chance to speak. A royal ship entering Tarsus, turning a command into a display of equal power. A closed room in Alexandria where a defeated ruler protects the last decision that still belongs to her. Perhaps Cleopatra's story is not truly about beauty. It is about voice. Who gets to speak? Who must ask permission? Who tells the story after the battle ends? We cannot control every force around us. Cleopatra could not stop Rome from growing. She could not keep every ally alive. But she kept searching for a space where choice was still possible. And perhaps that is also part of your English journey. A new language gives you another space to choose. At first, your voice may feel hidden. You may know the idea, but not the words. Yet each sentence brings you forward. Each new word allows you to enter another room and tell your own story with greater freedom. Keep learning. Keep speaking. One day, the words that feel difficult now may open like sails above a quiet sea. Tell me in the comments, which part of Cleopatra's story stayed with you the most? Was it the hidden cloth bundle? Was it the golden ship arriving at Tarsus? Or was it the quiet room at the end? If these stories help your English, please subscribe and come back every week. Thank you for listening. I will see you in the next story here at Woven English.